Welcome back to the Crypto Rainn channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph. Now, let's talk about one of the things I'm passionate about, which is income freedom. The reason I'm passionate about it, in life, we only get one life to live. And what income does is it does, and I guess wealth, it creates options for us. But how you use your income to create wealth leads to either poor results, mediocre results, or great results. And I had a special guest on I wanted to bring today because he does have a YouTube channel himself. It focuses on income and different ways to make additional income, as well as he talks about some of the principles that create wealth. He's also been very financially responsible himself, and he has a very interesting story, life story, about how he got to where he is that I wanted to share with you because he has thought outside the box and done things differently. He also did something really crazy and incredible recently that I had to share with you because it's so funny. So stay tuned for that. You will enjoy. I mean, it's a gamble. It's a calculated gamble, and it's hilarious what he did. But listen, many of you heard about this event going on, and he'll share with you what he chose to do with this event and how he took a calculated risk. So let me invite in Brian. Brian from Income Series. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. It's good to be here with you, Rainn.
Thank you for joining us. Now, Brian and I have actually known each other since childhood, and he actually lived for a couple of years with one of my younger brothers.
Yeah,
And
that's
so we
true.
go way back. So I have an insight into his life story, but he has quite a crazy life story, and it's pretty fun because many of us we had heard this thing of go to school, get good grades, work really, really, really hard, and maybe you'll get a job that pays you good money. And then if you save really well, you can be like financially free. And I started out that way, and it seems like he started out that way, but he made an abrupt right turn at a certain point. And I wanted, Brian, if you would share with them kind of a little bit about your story before we get into the craziness of what you chose to do just recently.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, I think I grew up very much with the traditional plan, I guess like most people did. I went to college to be a nurse, and then I later went to grad school to be a nurse anesthetist. So I was practicing anesthesia. And like most people, I got into massive student debt and really kind of just leveraged myself. When you're in your youth, you don't even realize what you're taking on when you're taking on this student debt. And a lot of it had I had student loans all the way up to 8% interest. So by the time I was done, I probably had about 220 grand in student loans. And but I had a good paying job. But one of the things that I noticed, I worked week on, week off with taking call. All my friends that didn't work so hard to kind of create a career for themselves still had more freedom than I did. Like they were going out every weekend, and they seemed much more flexible with their time, essentially. Anyways, I'd always had like this 5-year plan for myself, and I finally decided, you know what, like I need to stop doing this 5-year plan and start figuring out living my life the way that I want right now. And I had spent the first couple of years doing anesthesia, building up a business, doing continuing education online for different medical providers. And as soon as it started to do well, even though I wasn't making the same amount of money as doing anesthesia, I decided to just quit and start living abroad. You know, a couple of years ago, they called us digital nomads. Now it's like everybody works online. And so I was just like traveling to different countries, living in different countries at the time. And
So you
so,
created a business where it was offering online continuing education that like nurse practitioners or others could take to recertify. And then once you set that up and kind of had that going, you could live wherever you wanted.
yeah, that's exactly it. Built some courses. Most of it's actually automated. And, it's interesting when you live essentially as a digital nomad, you meet a lot of different people in that space because, when you go to a new country, maybe you stay at a hostel or you rent an Airbnb, a room in an Airbnb, and you meet other people kind of doing the same thing. And I honestly had a lot more freedom and flexibility with my time than most of those other people. And I think it's because I created an informational product that I didn't have to constantly update. I would maybe update the content once a year, or every other year. but it was more about online marketing, getting it to rank in Google, and that's where my traffic came. And it allowed me to finally have that freedom I was looking for. So, but anyways, to kind of go into how this relates with crypto, I started this YouTube channel as a side project. And because I know Rainn through his brother, I called up his brother and I was telling him, oh yeah, I just started up this YouTube channel a couple months back. And his brother's like, oh really? Like Rainn just started a channel too on crypto. He's like, you should talk to him. And since, my channel is all about like finance, business, and investing, I was mostly doing like traditional style investing, like, doing indexed funds and picking out some decent stocks and stuff like that. But then when I talked with Rainn, I realized the potential of crypto, and now I'm kind of hooked into it.
Yeah, it's crazy because of the volatility, right? And if you time the volatility right and you buy at lows and you sell at highs, the returns are unparalleled compared to anything we've ever seen. If you time it wrong and you buy high and then you sell low, it's disastrous. So it's figuring out the timing. When we all come here, we're usually bad before we're good, but your learning curve, you have been learning at an accelerated rate, oh my gosh, because you've only been in the space about, is it 5 months now, 4 months now? As far as on the crypto, like a crypto addict falling down the deep rabbit hole like I'm in?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I owned a little bit of crypto before we really started talking about it. But once you kind of introduced me to like what some different potentials were in the space, that's when I really started dedicating a lot of time into it. And I'm pretty fortunate in the sense that I have a lot of free time. So I had to devote into whatever projects that I like. So because of that, yeah, thank you, Rainn. You really kind of got me, I think, headed into this path. I'm addicted now.
It's a red pill, blue pill moment.
Right.
And once you take that pill, you start following down the rabbit hole. And at first you have no idea how deep it goes. Then you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much here. This technology, it's kind of like you're going along in normal life, and this huge world is happening that's going to revolutionize this technology that's going to change everything. And then once you become aware of it, you're amazed at how little you know about this whole thing that's happening that will change the way everything interacts within the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you come aware, you're like, oh my gosh, and then you always feel like, man, I know so little compared to everything that's happening out there because so much is happening. I had to finally go full-time into crypto because trying to work my day job, once the income was there that it made enough sense from, being in the space for like almost 4 years where, it made life-changing wealth, I could step away from my day job. But before that, you kind of got to juggle two things because if you bet all your chips on crypto and making your income from it too soon, I've seen some people make that mistake. But when I was able to step away and go full-time at this, is great. But you had already created a lifestyle that I didn't have. I was still working essentially a 9 to 5, didn't have a lot of lifestyle. I was making at the time pretty good income doing real estate investment, and that was working out for me. But that is a long cycle. What was interesting about what you did is you had really good income, but you started your own business so that you could step away and live wherever you wanted, so that you used the income that you did have to create lifestyle, which was fascinating to me.
Yeah, I would say too, when you're just getting into investing, unless you have massive amounts of wealth, it's actually really important to dollar cost average in, especially when there's a lot of volatility. So it's, having that day job when you still don't have enough wealth in crypto or your other investments to really kind of live off and sustain on, forever is really kind of important. It's unfortunate that I have, essentially income that comes in every single day that I then just dollar cost average into whatever projects that I think are going to do well or invest in those.
Yeah, so let's talk about one that just came out and you decided to go really big on this. So when I saw this too, I had the same opportunity. It's already passed. It was only open for 1 day. And I thought, I'm going to go big or go home. And I went in for 5 of these. Boy, I didn't realize there was a choice: go big or go real big.
Yeah.
And Brian went the latter of those two. Would you share with them the story about the opportunity that recently came up, kind of the risks versus the hope for rewards? Because we don't know how the story ends yet.
Yeah, most of you guys might be familiar with Gary Vee. He's kind of a motivational entrepreneur. He's pretty popular on YouTube. But anyways, he just a couple months ago he had a release of new NFTs. They're called V Friends, and most of those are going. They have a floor right around 10 Ethereum, right, 10 ETH. And there's a lot of his followers that kind of missed out on the opportunity to get those that are a little bit disappointed. So he had a pre-release on his new book. It's called 12 and a half. That's the new book. And it's about emotional intelligence and how you can use emotional intelligence to perform better in business. And as a giveaway for 24 hours, he said, for every 12 books, hardcover books that you buy, you'll get one gift. And he kind of explains, he talks about, he doesn't say what the gift is, but he says, hey, all of you guys that feel like you missed out on V Friends, well, here's your opportunity to get a gift, right? For every 12 books that you buy, you get one gift. He's like, if you buy 12, great. If you buy 24, even better. If you buy 360, even better, great. So I went in, and I first was kind of thinking on the conservative side. I was like, all right, I'll buy 12 books. So I'll get my one gift. I filled out the form. And then later on, I thought to myself, I was like, it costs about $300 for me to get those 12 books, even, shipped and delivered to my place. And the current V Friends are selling for 10 ETH. That's over $30,000. And I was like, if these new NFTs coming out are worth $30,000, that's 100x. And I was like, so I calculated it out. I was like, how many of these do I need to buy in order for it to be worth $1 million if the floor on these end up being 10 ETH? And so I bought 372 books. And my wife is going to kill me when they show up at the door. I think she's going to be a little bit surprised. But I don't think she'll be so worried once I get those NFTs. I liquidate a couple of them,
Right. Just get this huge delivery, right?
Right.
It's like stacks and stacks of books.
Yeah, I live in a small town here in Puerto Rico. Everybody's gonna know like who I am after this. I think they're like, who is this guy? He's got like 20 boxes shipped to his, house.
This will be so fun to watch. Now,
Yeah.
Brian's been in our Telegram community for a long time, and hopefully I'm gonna link the video because he did a video about this, and it was so funny when I watched it. I had to share it with you, and I asked Brian to come on and share his story with you because this is a great story. Like not just what he did here, but his life story is a great one, and the decisions that he's chosen, because we do get just one life to live. And so, I do believe that we choose to be happy no matter what our circumstances are, and there's some people that have proved that over time. However, one of the things that I regret is sometimes not stepping away enough to enjoy life, because I'm like, I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to save really, really hard so that then I can step away and enjoy things. And yeah, I'm finally at that point. I could step away and enjoy things, and a little bit I am, but it is in go time for the crypto year. And so, I promised my wife during the bear market we'll take some vacations together and catch up on some of that time. And I made a commitment to you guys for 5 years, for not just this cycle, but then the next one. After that, I make no promises, because we will be out having some fun. Hopefully, many of you are too that stick around for this 5 years, the full 5 years, and you stay here during the bear market. Brian, thank you for joining us. I will link that video below so they can check it out. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to hearing how this all comes together. I suspect you might be exactly right on your calculations.
Yeah, it sounds great. Thanks for having me, Rainn. It's good seeing
right.
you.
We'll see you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, be bad before you're good. Was taught to buy when it was boring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I'll always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, go parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and a feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge to gain show. Sticking at this wrong cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. Naysayers come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. I'm sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. In 2 years time the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go of the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, the time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.